Good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. What a banner day yesterday, huh? Had a brother come over early in the morning, and we worked all day long moving the cut trees. You know, they were cutting the logs about 18 inches thick. Moving them from the backyard over to the splitting area. And it looks like I have about 3 or 4 big pickup loads of rounds now to split, and we're still not quite done with the backyard. But we did that all day, and you know, some of those puppies were like 80 pounds, just carrying them, throwing them, tossing them, moving them, and so that was a really good workout. My wife was gone all day. She went, some Vikings, you know who you are, were kind enough to give us 4 lovely alpine goats, and so she went to pick them up and brought them home, and they're now safely here and all is well. So our goat herd is building again. We gave them all away except for our billy goat because nobody wanted him when we thought that we weren't going to live here for 6 months, and my wife said, well, we're here, let's get the goats back. And you can't, you know, give something to somebody and then ask for it back. So we had to source other goats, and, you know, the Father blessed us with that. So that's cool. Let's see, what else? Gave my truck away yesterday. That was my goal. When I put out the post, I said I want to get rid of it in 4 or 5 days. And the holdup for some people was that they couldn't access it quick enough. And I really didn't want to pay lot fees and all that stuff. And I just wanted it done. Have a big week coming up ahead of us. And I didn't want to be thinking about that truck. And so I'm happy to have given it to another Viking whom I've never met. And I hope he enjoys it and it serves him as well as it served me over the years. Great truck. Let's see. What else is going on? I know. I woke up this morning. You guys are like, what are you doing? When are you going to get to it? I woke up this morning and my email was just blown up. Much like a Syrian airfield. And I'm like, what is going on? What? What are you going to talk about the Syria thing? I'm thinking, what's going on in Syria? I don't know what's going on in Syria. And everyone's asking me that. When are you going to talk about Syria? And so I went and checked it out on the web. Wow. Let's talk about that. But first, a break for our coffee. Bottom line up front, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm trying to think of how to address this. Number one, there was a sarin gas attack on people, and people died, and many of them were children. That always makes me go, when they emphasize the children being killed. I believe children were killed by sarin gas. Who lobbed that gas? Who deployed the sarin gas that killed those people? Who stands to benefit from that event? Would it be in President Assad's best interest to use some sarin gas and kill a few people? Do you think he's an idiot? He's smart. He's a doctor. I find it very hard to believe that Assad used sarin gas. I know that in the world there is a history of false flag attacks. The Reichstag fire, the apartments that were blown up in Moscow, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, and more, and more, and more. You know, and I'm sorry. I don't know that Assad did that sarin gas attack. So that's one. But it sure gave us a reason to go rattle some sabers, didn't it? Let's talk about two. You know I'm overall a Trump supporter. He's certainly better than the only other option we had, which was Hillary. He's still better than Hillary. And one thing I was personally hopeful for was that rapprochement with Russia would occur, and we could chill out and maybe do a couple things together. We have some things that we are definitely in competition over, the U.S. and Russia. I get that. And where those things are, let the competition continue. But we have areas where we could do things together, like wipe out fundamentalist Muslim terrorists. We're not trying to be nice to Russia. We're not trying to get along with Russia. Matter of fact, we're poking them in the eye. Praise the Father, evidently no Russians were killed. It does kind of fascinate me that we destroy an airfield and only 4 or 6 people are killed. What, do they all go home at night? Maybe they do. I don't know anything about Syria. I know very little about Syria. 60 cruise missiles, that's interesting. I'm talking about Russia, so we'll continue talking about Russia. They ain't happy, right? I think they probably suspect that it wasn't the Assad regime. Let's just put that on the other foot for a second, can we? What if the Russians strongly suspect that it wasn't the Assad regime that deployed that chemical weapon, sarin nerve gas? And what if they suspect that the U.S. was somehow behind it? I don't think we deployed it. I think it's quite possible we could have encouraged someone else to do it, like ISIS, right? ISIS is fighting Assad. If ISIS deploys it and makes it look like Assad did it, the world's going to get mad at Assad, who's they're trying to fight. That's a win for them, right? Who created ISIS? Who created ISIS? So what if Russia thinks that we're somehow behind it? And then, so just think about their moral outrage over that. The Russians are normal people for the most part. They love their kids, and matter of fact, I think Russians probably love their children more than we do, believe it or not, as a culture. And so the thought of using nerve gas on civilians is probably repugnant to them too, right? Repugnant. Well, if they think we're behind it, they're kind of starting to go, we need to check into that. They probably did. They tasked their FSB or whatever, KGB or whoever they're using today to go find out who's actually behind that thing. And in the meantime, then we double up and blow up a Syrian airfield that they're nominally in charge of protecting. They're not happy. They said we're at a crisis proportions with our relations or something. That's them signaling that America, do you really want to go here? Because once you break that stick with us, there's no quick mend on that. And I think the war hawks in the Trump administration are winning. Those are the same ones that were behind Hillary, who wanted to go fight Russia, which is one of the huge reasons I hated Hillary. So that's that. Consider the timing. The Chinese guy. I really should know his name. Is it Xi? Whatever. He's meeting now with Trump when the attack happens. You think that timing was thought of? I actually think that's pretty cool, timing-wise. Talk about making an impression. All right, well, good night. I'll see you after dinner, or I'll see you for breakfast tomorrow. Croissants. The guy goes home, turns on CNN, and, his phone's ringing off the hook from his intel people back in China. Hey, sir, the Americans just did this thing in Syria. That kind of sets a tone on the negotiations that are going on with Trump and him. What is it bode for North Korea? I mean, the administration just put out that the time for talking is over, that we've got nothing else to say, and that the time has run out. Basically, diplomatic speak for watch this. Watch what's going to happen. North Korea is a more significant threat than is Syria. We have a lot of soldiers in South Korea. We have a lot of Americans in South Korea. And the North Koreans, to my understanding, if they launch, and I don't think they're necessarily a rational state, right? I don't think their people are rational. They call it the Hermit Kingdom for a reason. They have no news. Their people have no news of the outside world. None. They don't have a clue what's going on. That's just pure propaganda for them. You think you get propaganda on the news? Whoo-hoo! North Koreans don't have a clue. And so you don't know how they're going to act. And if they launch them south, many, oh, let the bloodletting begin. What was that Aussie song, War Pigs? Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Yeah, evil minds that plot destruction. Yeah, I'm watching now, right? What's going to happen there? We signaled, we did it. Syria. Let's get back to Syria. They're not a threat to us. What the heck do we care about Syria for? They're a threat to the nation state of Israel. Let the nation state of Israel fight Syria. I mean, honestly, I don't care about Syria. Do you care about Syria? Do you care about the pipeline through Syria? That's not there yet, but do you care? I don't care. I don't think it's worth one American private general sergeant major dying for. It's not worth the life of one American soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine. Syria? So why are we there? Why are we starting to mess around? Do you hear the Philippines is deploying soldiers onto those contested little atolls out there? Man, China's going to come out of this meeting, and what are they going to think? I don't think China, the dragon, the awakening dragon, is going to leave that meeting cowed. I think they're going to look at it like, wow, they're trying to intimidate me by, while I'm meeting with President Trump, showing me this, precise strike from their Navy. Which is where we're competing with China, right? Naval. I think he might go home and go, you know what? The Americans maybe think they can push us around now. Let's do something to show them they can't. All that chest bumping, thumping, oh yeah. Next thing you know, somebody takes a swing. And with the big boys, those swings don't necessarily just stay swings. Other things start coming out. So what are you going to do? You're going to stay tuned to the news. You're going to watch it, listen to it. This is a time of very heightened tensions. You're going to try and remain aware. I was just thinking about this yesterday. It's kind of interesting. People bugging out. Having plan A to be your bug out plan is a horrible plan, but if it's your plan, it is what it is, right? If something happens, I'm out of here. I'm going to my cabin in the woods. Have you packed the car yet? Because, I was talking to the guy who was helping me yesterday. All these people who think they're going to flee the cities because they're going to get the news ahead of everybody else, they're not. They're going to make the decision to flee the city about the same time all other millions of people in that city area, complex get the idea, and they're not going anywhere. They're going to be stuck because they're not going to leave early enough. If my plan A was to bug out, I think I'd be planning an immediate vacation. I'd tell my boss, hey, I decided we're going to take next week off. And then it could not happen for 3 weeks. Your vacation comes and goes, and then 2 weeks later the world goes crazy. What are you going to do? That's the problem with having a plan to bug out. If you don't leave early enough, you might as well stay. So think about that. Start getting your ducks in order. I don't panic when things like this happen because I'm as prepared as I can be. There's nothing else I can do. I just go about daily life, I suggest you do the same. Stay alert, stay alive. I'll be watching the news. I'll be more closely attuned to the news. Expect some follow-up. Expect something vis-a-vis North Korea. Expect China to make a statement. China's statement will come out. That will be a very interesting statement to show us where we're going. I would be watching for the premier, whatever his title is. I need to learn. I need to get more intelligent on China again. I used to be pretty smart on China. The head guy at China who's here in Florida, watch for him to have consultations with Russia. If that happens, start stacking sandbags, right? Watch for an asymmetric response. You know, we're over there. I'm firmly believe we have the best cruise missiles in the world and the most of them, right? We have the best Navy in the world. You can't touch this. Okay, so watch for some economic counterattacks from Russia and China. Watch for something there. Let's see what's going on. I tell you who benefited from this whole thing. ISIS. No one's looking at ISIS right now. Everyone's looking at the U.S. and Assad, and that mean guy Assad, he threw sarin gas at us, or Russia, who was fighting ISIS to preserve Assad. They're not really focused on ISIS right now. They're focused on America, right? What are they doing? What are they going to do next? Who wins? ISIS. Yeah, we like ISIS, right? Get you and yours ready. Take care of yourselves. I wish you the best. Hopefully, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you out there.